they pass on Hampton and select Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, the wide receiver. What do you make of the thought process here? Because in addition to him selecting a wide receiver, it's just more buzz the week of the draft here. As the sand has fallen through the hourglass, more buzz about wide receiver to the Broncos.
Well, it's gonna the thing that's gonna go in my head right away is what we talked about earlier, in which you were speculating Sean was talking about, as that crystal ball or the blender. In this case, the receiver's the crystal ball, and it's like, I'm not passing it up on a receiver that can help my boy Bo Nix out. But for me, I'm gonna be like, Sean, what are you doing? No, Omarion Hampton sitting right in front of you, the missing piece to this year. And maybe in that moment I'll be upset. And as time goes on and the running back that Sean decides to take, it ends up panning out, then I'll be happy. But in this moment, take Omarion Hampton, because he's sitting right in front of you. You've done your homework on him. He's a great running back, great contact balance, has the speed, can catch out of the backfield, very patient. He will go pleasantly with the offensive line that you put together and you paid, on top of having the tight end and Bo Nix in year 2. Don't do that to us. Take the running back now because he's sitting in front of you. That's what I would say, Zach.
Well, you don't sound crazy. But I also actually at the same time don't think this is crazy. I am open to a wide receiver at 20th overall. And you think of Ohio State, man. Think about all the great players who have.
They would tell you the Ohio State.
The Ohio State, right? They even tried to trademark the word "the," with somewhere Dion's like, I like that. I like that.
He said, put that in my back pocket. Put a pin in that one.
I mean, but you think of like these great receivers, these great pass catchers that have come through Ohio State. Terry Glenn, right? Joey Galloway, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Ted Ginn Jr., Chris Carter, Santonio Holmes, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave. No one ever accumulated more yards at Ohio State than Emeka Egbuka. The dude's just a flat-out football player.
So you're saying he's that crystal ball Sean's talking about?
Well, it's like the crystal.
The crystal.
Yeah, like he is not a combine guy. He's not. He's just a football player. All he does is produce. His reliability rating, if I'm using my old like Uber analogy, like if Emeka's coming to get you, brother, you are getting to the airport. You're getting to your flight on time.
Well, in college.
In college, yeah. Just like everyone else that we've talked about here. Even Ashton Genty. Even Omarion Hampton. Right?
Yeah,
These are college players.
No doubt, yeah.
But like you look at the list of all those great players that were stars at Ohio State, no one ever produced more than this kid.
So you're what it sounds like to me is you're talking yourself into us taking this receiver. Like you're okay with it.
I don't want to talk you into it.
You just don't like the damn running backs.
I think that if you went this way, this is the definition of just like a high floor player. Just a freaking high floor player. And I have the understanding that the draft isn't over when I make the 20th overall pick.
Yeah, for sure. But that goes both ways. You pick a running back, the draft's not over. There's receivers in there that can do the job too.
Is this a historically deep receiver class?
We don't know. We don't know if it's a historically deep running back class. I told you that. Every time you piss me off by saying that, Zach, I'm going to say the opposite. Like, hey, we have Jokic. What do you mean? Because every time I would bring up, hey, we have the best player in the world, Jokic, you always tell me, Phil, I don't like that. I don't like that you say that because it's more than just that.
Yeah,
yes, we do.
Yeah, it just reduces it down to its simplest form.
Well, that's what you're doing right now to the running back class. You're reducing it down to its simplest form. Like, hey, it doesn't matter if we take this running back because there's 5 more just like him.
There's just like him.
Just like him.
I didn't say just like him. I didn't say that. But you can, like, if you believe that this pick is going to be the best thing for the Broncos, I don't think you stress out over need. Right? Like, and this is why when Sean was asked the question about his wide receivers, This is when he used that analogy. That's why I believe that, like.
But didn't Sean also say, like, when he goes and he puts things in categories, it's the must.
Yep.
And then the need and the want.
Yep.
Yeah, you need a receiver. You need a tight end. But you must have a run game this year. That's all I keep pointing to. Like, that's a must.
Yes, it is.
And maybe it is a guy later on in the rounds. But all I'm saying is that is a must. You have receivers that you relied on that nobody else thought were going to be good. Let's be real. Vele. None of us knew about Vele. And then, Zach, you came up with one a day Vele. Troy Franklin needs to get his act together. Marvin Mims, another one that has to step up, and they got to let him get going. Cortland Sutton ended up being better than what people thought he was going to be.
For sure.
And so all I'm saying is we must have a running back, and that's why I keep on saying if Omarion Hampton's here in this scenario, take him and then go get a running back because you still need, or a receiver because you still need the depth at receiver.
Totally. And they need more just like upper echelon talent. Like Marvin Mims did it for 7 weeks, and it was cool. It was awesome. Vele, I'm a believer, but like we don't have enough sample size. And Sutton's getting into his 30s. Would you be upset tomorrow night if they drafted Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, 20th overall?
I'm gonna scratch my head, Zach, because I do truly think that Omarion Hampton is the next best option at running back, and I have him paired to like he looks just like Joe Mixon, truly. And if you can get somebody like Joe Mixon in your running back room, that's going to help Bo Nix out. The man, Bo Nix and Sean Payton were able to get to the playoffs without a tight end or a run game.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Now it's time to feed the offensive line, feed the run game to help Bo Nix out. That's all I'm saying. Will I be upset? No, because we have to trust Sean. And it's another weapon for Bo no matter what. But will I be scratching my head saying, why, if Omarion Hampton's sitting right there in front of you, why would you not take him?
Yeah.
I would. I'll be questioning it.
Yeah.
Because I want what's best for the team and what's best for Bo. And what's best for Bo and the team is having a run game.
For sure. And they will address it with a heavy hand. I mean, my guessing is it's the first or second round.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'd be stunned if we're going into the third round and the Broncos haven't addressed a running back. This is what Schrager said about Egbuka from Ohio State, the all-time leading receiver for the Buckeyes. Quote, bar none, Egbuka is the most universally well-liked prospect in this draft. He is smart, reliable, and sure-handed. He could be a 10-year captain somewhere and is most often compared to fellow Buckeyes legend Terry McLaurin. Coach Sean Payton and general manager George Payton hit a home run with Bo Nix a year ago. This could be another no-brainer, end quote. And I do think it's interesting, not that Sean is saying to Schrager, hey, we're going to take the kid from Ohio State, and then he's going to go put him in his mock draft, but I do wonder if at some point over the last couple weeks, over a, you hear about some of these phone calls that Sean's on for an hour or 2 hours. He does. He really does. He does. No, it's a good point.
And he's like, you know what? Like, let me tell you guys a little something about what I'm doing over here, what I'm cooking up. And he might spill the beans that way. But, like, let me ask you this. Sean has a daughter, correct?
Yes. Megan.
She's in the market. Like, when it comes to, like, she's trying to get her foot in the door when it comes to projecting drafts and just in general.
Yeah, she's, like, getting into the business. Yep. She's now working for FanDuel. Megan Payton.
Megan Payton. She had her draft come out.
This is so funny. The coach's daughter's doing mocks. The coach's daughter's doing mocks. I love it.
It's just hard for me to not believe that, like, she's not talking to her dad, especially if she has a great relationship with her dad. It's not like, hey, Dad, tell me what's going on. But if Sean likes to talk to people, why would he not want to talk to his daughter on top of, like, hey, you're trying to make a name for yourself. Let me help you out.
Yep.
Let me give you a couple pieces of what we're doing and what other people are doing because we're answering phone calls because you're my daughter. Because if that was my daughter, I would do the exact same thing.
I have a frame of reference that speaks to your point. Do you remember Sean Payton was in a movie about Sean Payton? Well, he wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, I do remember it.
The director of that movie is Sean Payton's daughter's husband. Or maybe it was a longtime boyfriend at the time. It was her partner. And he said in a roundabout way, like, the reason that I agreed to do that is because it was my daughter's partner. If you're willing to give your likeness for literally a movie about your life to help your family, your daughter in some way, shape, or form through her partner, and maybe he can have a successful film career, and you helped get it off the ground and all this stuff, maybe he would tell his daughter, hey, stick with running back, hon. Like, I can't tell you, babe, but
just stick with the running back.
Trust your guy. Hey, I liked your mock draft. Something like that, right? And by the way,
maybe she gave her like the big eyes. The daughters, like they getting good with their dads. We all know that. We have daughters.
Sure.
And it's like, come on, Dad, help me out.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, look, by the odds, the Broncos are minus 150 to take a running back first. Meaning that if you want to make $100 and you think the Broncos are going to draft a running back, you have to stake $150 to get a $100 return.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's a lock, but they're saying it's pretty likely that's
going to happen.
That's the direction it goes. So, yeah. I mean, and then in the Schrager draft, Sean's buddy, from formerly of Fox, now at ESPN, Peter Schrager, he's got Shador Sanders going 21st overall to Pittsburgh, which is now feels like the momentum of this very day. And Schrager is incredibly connected. He's a very likable guy, and his mock draft, I think, is more relationship-based in what he's hearing, as opposed to this is where I think the very best fit for player A and team B,
So tell me this, though, Zach. Tell me. I've had my take on Shador and what I feel about it, and I think it's pretty crap that all of a sudden a bunch of stuff's coming out on Shador, and it seems like they're pushing his head down, and now he's dropping. Now, I think it's a great fit. That if Shador drops to the 21st pick in the NFL draft to the Pittsburgh Steelers, like that's a great fit.
I agree.
Just like Bo Nix to the Denver Broncos was a great fit.
Yep.
What's your take on it, though?
Shador?
Yeah.
To Pittsburgh or the comments?
Just everything that's going on, like why he's dropping all of a sudden.
Yeah. I can't point to a single reason why he's dropping. Why he on ESPN bet earlier today with his over-under draft pick was 8.5, and 2 hours later it's 21.5. That's crazy. Because he didn't throw a pick. He didn't give a salacious interview this morning.
He's not in jail.
No.
Nothing like that's coming out about him.
So something happened today. My guess is, this is my total guess, that a $1 million bet came in on Shador to go after 8.5. And it shifted and spooked the gambling markets because they're now exposed financially. And it's like, whoa. Okay, so this coming from a heavy hand of $1 million, and I'm making up that number. What makes sense here? Why would this professional gambler be so confident? And these sports gamblers, they work in the underbelly of the sports society.
They're good.
They are. And they work in the underbelly of sports society, and they look for information just like Peter Schrager or Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter. They're in the same line of work, but just they work in a different part of the building. They work in a different wing of this whole cottage industry, really. So that's my guess. That's my guess on why this happened, because I don't know what else to point to. A shift that dramatic. I don't know what else to point to.
Yeah, like 2 days before the draft, things are coming out about it, and it's and my guessing is Shador and his father probably already knew about this. Maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens. You start to catch wind of like what's going on, what are you hearing?
Right.
To brace yourself so that you don't feel embarrassed when you don't get picked in the top 10.
Yep. And it may be as simple as that information that they found out a week ago got out.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, it could be that simple. What else I think is interesting is this Genty stuff. It's not going away. The volume is only increasing. This potential fit between the Broncos moving up for Ashton Genty. All right. Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. So we already heard Schefter say there's not many teams that want to move up, but one name that he's heard is the Broncos. Here's Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. He says, the Broncos were the only team I could find that was actively exploring a trade up. If the Broncos move up, it would likely be for an elite skill player such as Boise State's Ashton Genty. And Genty is one player I have circled as a trade-up target in a class that doesn't have many of those, end quote. Put that in your pocket. Then you have a social media post from Brian Baldinger, right? Former pro, in the media, super connected. Yesterday, he says this.
Hey, Baldy here on the main stage at the NFL Network. And, I get these premonitions when we get close to the draft. We're basically 48 hours away. I'm just telling you, I feel a blockbuster trade coming in the top 5. I kind of know what might happen. I'm just letting you know. This is a tease. Like, it's coming. Be ready for it. This is not going to be a boring draft. We got a blockbuster trade coming. There's only so many great players in this draft. I don't know. Like, I feel it, all right? I might have to release it. I'm just teasing you right now. All right, everybody. 48 hours, man. Christmas is coming.
So it's
I don't know.
It's a little bit funny, but do I believe Brian Baldinger would just do that literally randomly for attention on social media?
Oh no, he heard something.
I don't. I do believe he heard something, and he's kind of calling his shot. This is what media people do, right? And then you have separately from that, so you have Schefter saying the Broncos could move up. You have the Albert Breer saying they're the only team I can find that wants to move up.
Yeah.
And if they do, my guess is it's for Ashton Genty. You have Brian Baldinger coming out and saying that he believes there's a blockbuster trade coming.
Christmas is coming.
In the top 5. Yep, Christmas is almost here. And then you have Todd McShay, whose reputation precedes him, saying in the last 24 hours this.
Genty's getting hot. Here's my list of notes I've been taking.
Okay.
It's Jacksonville 5. I'm told it's not 6 to the Raiders, and I trust my source there, but maybe they're like playing chess while the rest are playing checkers, and maybe they're trying to get people to cool off. No, you can get Genty later, and now there's talk of the Bears at 10, and also news is Denver's made calls to move up. The noise potentially could turn into news is that Denver's doing that. Sean Payton wants to go up and get Ashton Genty. But all of those teams, it could be the Genty stuff.
So to say there's like smoke is an understatement.
It's crazy that Denver's placed in this.
They're at the center of it almost.
This is real. And that's Sean being aggressive.
It is.
We talked about it yesterday, and we were like, hey, if Denver moves up, and I said it exactly. I said, if Denver moves up, Zach, there's only one person moving up for, and that's Ashton Genty. Because of the glaring need of a running back and maybe Sean being aggressive. One, Sean has drafted multiple running backs in the first round.
Yes.
But maybe Sean's just like so tunnel vision on Ashton Genty and like, man, I can make something of this young man. And if we have him in this offense, it's a Super Bowl kind of offense or a team. That's what Sean's thinking because he feels like he is so close. And now we're sitting here and saying that Ashton Genty may end up being a Denver Bronco because the Broncos may move up for him.
I'll tell you, yesterday I saw some of this on, the RamosLaw.com text line. Hey, why are you guys talking about this? It's unrealistic. Guys, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just kind of follow the signs here. Like, have your eyes open. This thing, like, we're pointing to 4 or 5 different things why this could live in reality. And that's also in addition to Sean's history of not just taking 2 running backs in the first round, but 3 separate times. We have 3 separate trades for Sean Payton in the first round.
Moving up.
3 for 3, all moving up. So I'll tell you,
but where's that sweet spot? If it's not the top 5 and it's not 6 for the Raiders for Ashton Genty, he drops to maybe 10 with the Bears. The Bears don't take him.
Yeah.
You talked about it yesterday. Like the Denver Broncos and the 49ers have a great relationship. Maybe Denver is waiting for Ashton Genty to slip past the Raiders to say, okay, the Bears are sitting right here. What are the Bears doing? If not, we're moving to 11.
Right.
Take him.
Right. If this is going to happen, that's what I'm praying the scenario is. It's to trade to 11.
Not the top 5.
Phil, do you know how crippling that would be from a draft capital perspective?
Well, it really doesn't matter if you're winning.
It matters a lot. It matters a lot because I want to win from now and for now on.
Oh, okay, Calvin Booth. I feel like we just had this conversation.
And for now on. Do you know what the San Francisco 49ers traded to trade up for Trey Lance? They were picking at 12.
Yeah.
12. And they moved up to 3.
Okay.
They traded that year's first-round pick.
Yeah.
The next year's first-round pick. The next year's first-round pick. And a third-round pick. That was to get from 12 to 3.
Okay, and
what do you think it would take?
What
do you think it would take from 20 to 5?
Well, just depending. It depends. Every draft is different. They're not going to base it off of 3 years ago and say, like, that happened 3 years ago. So now, and that was a quarterback you're going after. This is a running back.
Yeah, but when you make the trade, that you're not saying, well, we want this amount because we're going for a quarterback. There's the Jimmy Johnson trade value chart. So it actually is relevant.
Oh, so then you would give a first this year, a first next year, and maybe a second.
To move from 20 to 5?
Yeah.
No.
So what are you thinking?
Oh, my gosh. It'd be your first this year, first next year, the year after that.
I'm not thinking you're going to have to give 3 firsts.
I just gave you a recent comp moving from 12 to 3. Why would it be less moving from 20 to 5?
I'm telling you.
I know
Zach,
you're telling me, but what are you drawing from?
Well, it's because at that time you're desperate. The 49ers were very desperate for a quarterback. You're talking about a running back. This is not going to happen. If somebody's going to take the 2 first, they'll be happy. Like Denver will happily give it to them. But if it becomes 3 first, Denver's going to probably pull out.
It will be 3 first. It'll be this year's first and 2 additional first.
If that is the case, Zach, then buckle up. Because if Denver's talking about trading up for him, they may be willing to give the 3 first if they're talking about it now.
Gosh, I hope not, man. I hope not.
Get ready.
I hope not. Now, 11, we can start kind of like...
11 makes sense.
11 makes more sense. Moving from 20 to 5, oh my gosh.
Look at you. Relax. Take a chill pill.
I will not take a chill pill.
The 49ers did that. Gave up a lot of their draft pick, which sucked.
Yeah.
But they were still in the Super Bowl.
They were in the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo.
They were a couple points. Yeah, they were.
That's who they were moving on from.
But
so you said they were desperate.
They were.
They did with Brock Purdy because the Trey Lance thing didn't work out. It sets you back when it doesn't